In the dark alleys of the nighttime city, there lived a legend about a doctor whose activities instilled fear in the citizens. No one knew his real name or past, but everyone knew him as Dr. Maniac. He was a man in a white coat and mask, but his intentions were far from what is usually associated with a medical worker. The doctor was an emergency medical services employee, but his intentions were truly horrific. He preferred to use his skills for other purposes, to satisfy his dark research interests. It all started when people began to disappear in the quiet suburbs of the city. At first, these were random disappearances, but it soon became apparent that all the disappearances had a common denominator. They all vanished after seeking help at the local hospital. He chose his victims with particular care. He hunted those who were vulnerable and helpless, those who needed help and had no relatives. In other words, those who no one would look for. He would take them to his basement, where his maniacal experiments became their nightmare. The police began an investigation, but could not find any evidence. After all, it never occurred to them that a hospital employee could be behind the crimes. No one knew what happened to the missing people until one survivor emerged. He was a young guy whose terrifying abduction story left the entire city frozen in fear. He described his abduction by the maniac, the senseless and painful medical procedures he was subjected to. He described the basement with medical instruments, rusty walls, and the soulless eyes of the doctor that pierced his soul. After this incident, the police began actively searching for the doctor. But when they raided the hospital, they found out that he had been working under false documents. Later, his hideout was discovered, where the police found horrifying evidence of his crimes. But the doctor vanished without a trace, as if he had dissolved into thin air, leaving only traces of his insane work. And to this day, the legend of him lives on in the citizens' terrifying nightmares, reminding them of the dark side of the medical profession and that behind the mask of kindness may lurk the most terrible evil.